Welcome to Phase B. We have spent Phase A on the model. Today we cross the bridge, from chatbot to agent. By the end of this lesson, you will understand the single most important idea in this course. A chatbot talks. An agent acts. Once that distinction clicks, everything else about open code follows naturally. We will look at what a chatbot can do, what it cannot do, and how an agent goes further. Quick recap. Phase A was entirely about the model. Tokens, context windows, hallucinations, grounding. All of it happened inside one window, in one chat. You typed, the model answered. That is the whole story so far. Today, we leave the chat window. So what is a chatbot? A chatbot is what you have already used. ChatGPT in a browser. Gemini in a browser. Claude in a browser. It lives on a web page or inside an app. You type, it talks back. That is the whole interaction. The chatbot cannot touch anything on your computer. It cannot read your files. It cannot edit them. It cannot run programs. It has no hands. Now consider the limits. A chatbot cannot read files on your computer. It cannot create files, edit them, or save them. It cannot run shell commands. It cannot look things up for itself, unless you paste them in. And the moment you close the browser tab, it stops. It cannot continue working while you sleep. The chatbot is brilliant at talking. It is useless at acting. A chatbot is brilliant at talking. It is useless at acting. So what is an agent? An agent is a program with hands. It lives on your computer, not on a web page. It talks to a model, just like a chatbot does. But it can also act on your machine. It can read your files. Edit them. Create new ones. Run shell commands. Look things up on your behalf. It works for you, while you watch or while you sleep. That is the difference in one sentence. How does an agent actually work? Think of it as a body and a brain. The agent program is the body, it runs on your computer. The LLM is the brain, it decides what to do. Tools are the hands, read a file, edit a file, run a command. The brain decides which hand to use. The hand does the work. The hand reports back. The brain decides the next step. That loop is what makes an agent an agent. Here is the loop. You give the agent a goal. The model looks at the goal and decides what to do first. It picks a tool, maybe read a file. The agent runs that tool. The result comes back. The model looks at the result, decides the next step. Maybe edit the file. The agent runs that. Result comes back. The model decides whether to keep going or stop. This loop, decide, act, observe, decide again, is what makes an agent more powerful than any chatbot. Decide, act, observe, decide again. That is the agent loop. What tools does an agent have? Read files in your project. Create or edit files. Run shell commands like ls or git. Search the web, in some setups. And, through something called MCP, which we will meet later, connect to almost any external service. A database. A browser. An API. The tool set is what makes the agent useful. Different agents expose different tools. OpenCode exposes a powerful, safe set. Here is something to take seriously. The risk surface changes. With a chatbot, the worst case is a bad answer that you read and ignore. With an agent, the worst case is a bad answer and a real change to your files. Agents act in the real world. That is their power. It is also their risk. Good agents, and OpenCode is one, keep you in control. You approve changes before they happen. You can undo. You can see what the agent did, step by step. Here are the safety habits we will practice throughout the rest of this course. Start with plan mode. The agent thinks out loud, but does not change files yet. Read every diff before accepting a change. Use /undo when something goes wrong. Commit your work to Git often, so you can always roll back. With these habits, an agent is safer than a human programmer without these habits. Here is the same goal in both worlds. The goal, explain how login works in this project. With a chatbot, you do all the work. You open your editor. You find the login file. You copy its contents. You paste into ChatGPT. You ask your question. You get an answer. With an agent, you tell the agent, explain how login works. The agent reads the file itself, and answers. 6 steps become 2. That is the productivity gain. That is what agents are for. There is one more distinction worth making. An assistant is different from an agent. An assistant suggests, Copilot auto-completes your code, Grammarly suggests grammar fixes. You accept each suggestion, one at a time, manually. An agent acts. It runs tools, edits files, completes multi-step goals with your oversight but without you micromanaging every step. Both are useful. They are different categories. OpenCode is an agent, not an assistant. With the right habits, an agent is safer than a human programmer without them. Examples of agents you may already have heard of. OpenCode, what this course is about. Cursor, a code editor with an agent built in. Claude Code, Anthropic's terminal agent. GitHub Copilot Workspace, GitHub's agent. They all share the same core idea. A program on your computer, talking to a model, with hands to act. The differences are in the details: which tools, which models, which safety model. Why OpenCode specifically? 4 reasons. Open source, free to use and free to read. Works with any provider, Claude, GPT, Gemini, or a local model. Runs on your machine, not in a browser, your code never has to leave unless you want it to. And privacy first by design. We will install OpenCode in Phase C for now. Just hold the idea. OpenCode is an agent that lives on your computer and works for you. If you remember one idea from this lesson, remember this. A chatbot talks. An agent acts. A chatbot lives on a web page and can only respond. An agent lives on your computer and has hands, tools that touch your files, run commands, look things up. The risk goes up, real changes to real files. But so does the usefulness, enormously. Everything in the rest of this course builds on this one idea. A chatbot talks. An agent acts. Hold this, and the rest of the course clicks into place. Quick recap. A chatbot talks only, on a web page. An agent has hands, on your computer. The agent loop is decide, act, observe, repeat, until the goal is done. With an agent, both the risk and the usefulness go up. The next lessons show you how to keep the risk low and the usefulness high. Here is a small exercise. Open ChatGPT or Gemini in a browser. Ask it to read a file on your computer. It cannot. It has no hands. Remember that limitation every time you use a chatbot, you have to do all the file work yourself. Then imagine the same chat, but with hands. The model could read the file itself. Edit it. Run a test. That imagined version is an agent. That is what OpenCode gives you. Coming up next, we meet OpenCode specifically. We have just established what an agent is, in the abstract. Now we look at the actual agent this course teaches. Then, across the rest of Phase B, we cover prompting for agents, memory, skills, and /commands. By the end of Phase B, you will understand OpenCode conceptually. Phase C is where you install it. Chatbot talks. Agent acts. This is the foundation of everything else. Thanks for spending this time with me. Next, we meet OpenCode itself, the agent this course is about.